Oh my goodness.
Oh my!
Not again, Clint.
You know, you know what song I've been listening to on repeat? That's Life by Sinatra.
Oh man. Well, Hog fans, it's time for the Hawg Slop podcast that we didn't want to do. We put it off this week, Clint, because we wanted to see kind of where we would be.
Yep, wanted to talk about that. It's not all bad. We witnessed history.
Yeah, we sure did.
We witnessed history, and then we witnessed the collapse like only an Arkansas Razorback can do. And we're not going to be all doom and gloom, but you know what? We are armchair quarterbacks. We are couch coaches. Is that what we'd be, Travis?
Something like that, yeah.
You know what I do when I'm on the couch, Travis, is sometimes I have my phone out and I'm scrolling on YouTube. Yeah. And then I see something I like, and then you know what I do?
You like it.
I like it. I give them a thumbs up and say, hey, man, good job.
What if you really like it?
You know what? I'd probably share it with a friend like yourself.
That'd be awesome. I like it when you share
and then,
things.
You know what? If I really enjoy it, I subscribe so I'll know when they do new content.
That's right.
And you should do that right now on this podcast.
Just right now, do it. It should be on your screen there.
Just right now.
Somewhere.
Hey, that segue was on point.
It was on point.
There you
It's
go.
more on point than our Hogs were in the 9th inning.
But not as on point as Sean Michelle.
That's right. Y'all ready? We got to do it. Let's do it.
1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Never seen a blind man see? I promise you will change his life. You ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you will change his life.
What's up, everybody? It's time for the Hawg Slop podcast with your boy Bigger T. I'm joined as always by my best friend, Arkansas fan, as it says on his shirt right there.
Arkansas fan.
Big
this
Clark,
is
big
sadness.
How you doing, man?
I'm at about a 5.
Oh,
no, that's a 9.
We can't really see that.
Hurts a lot. As you see the name on the screen, I'm sad. But you know what? It is a game. I'm a fan. I'm not going to let it ruin my day.
That's right.
But you know what did happen to me today, Travis?
What happened, Clint?
They moved me down to South Texas to just, to open up a new store. And when you move into a new place, anything,
it's
you
new.
Don't realize you need something till you need it.
Yeah.
So I need to get what I need to do. I need to probably go to another tire store. So I'd stop by one and no, we don't have it. And so I went 2, 3, and they just didn't have it. Needed some balanced bead bags. So we really don't use those. And I'm like, well, we don't either. But here we are. It's the only way to fix my problem.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go over to this. I was like, maybe go down this other one. So I go to pull in, and as I'm pulling in, a guy's backing up. I hit my brakes real hard because I'm like, if I keep going, he's just going to hit me further. I mean, he's going to hit me. It's my best chance to give him a chance to stop.
Yeah.
And he just backed right into me. Hit my front fender pretty good. As I sent you the picture, you're like, wow. Because I was going to go to jiu-jitsu tonight. And then I'm like, well, my plans got derailed a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt bad as an employee of another tire store, and I didn't want the guy to be in trouble. And I was like, oh my goodness! I just felt really like I know you're going to fix my vehicle. That's not a big deal. I'm not even worried about it. I felt bad for the guy.
So you, as a regional manager of a tire store, was at another tire store.
Yes.
And got hit by a worker at the other tire store.
You think they're out to get me?
They think they're trying to get you, Clint. New guy in town.
Tried to
They're
take me
after you.
out. Apparently, we've
Like,
got
hey,
heat.
that's that new guy.
We've got some
You
heat.
know, be careful. Be careful. It is. Hey, have you watched Landman? Okay, they could be after you.
They kill coyotes around here.
That's right, they do.
I don't know if I'm a coyote.
Yeah.
You know what I have discovered, Travis?
What's
is
that?
these mosquitoes. Like, look, man, I've been in South Arkansas before, hung out with you, and been to Tennessee. I've been in the Arkansas Delta. These mosquitoes in South Texas are a different breed, man. They are different. Like, I'm going to start before I wake up in the morning. I'm going to spray myself with off.
Just
I don't know.
Bathe in DEET.
I think I've lost a couple pounds just in blood.
Well, good.
No, I had one on my arm the other day, and I slapped it, and my arm looked like Ric Flair had done a blade job on it.
Yeah.
It was he was
that's crazy.
He was helping me out. These mosquitoes are different.
That's a neat inside wrestling reference. A blade job.
That's a blade job.
That's for those wrestling when they used to cut themselves.
I think most people know what a blade job is.
There's a lot of people probably didn't get that reference. I wanted to kind of
we've had
explain.
Tony Gunn on the podcast.
Translator. Be a translator.
Thank you.
Well, folks, look, hey, our Razorbacks made it to Omaha.
Well, before we get into the Razorbacks, let's cover the other thing I wanted to cover real quick, and then we'll close with the Razorbacks.
Okay, well.
Or would you rather do it vice versa? Guys,
let's talk about what's most important up top. That's what people want to talk about, right?
Okay, then I'll shut up and let you go.
Let's talk about what everybody's talking about today, because I've listened to the radio. Everybody's talking about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't either, Clint, but we got to talk about it.
This is the only time I've talked to it. I've tried to. I have not watched YouTube clips. I'm just. You know what? I'm like Dwight Yoakam in Sling Blade. Like, I'm hurting, Linda. I'm hurting.
That's right.
I'm hurting.
Well, our Hogs made it to Omaha. They start off, of course, against LSU. Things don't go so well in that game. Get behind. Then they play UCLA.
No, they play Murray State now.
Oh, sorry, Murray State. And then, how can I forget that game, right? And Gage Wood goes ballistic. Amazing. Yeah. One for history.
In 10 years, no one's going to remember who won this College World Series. No. They're really not. I mean, if LSU wins, folks in Louisiana are going to remember, and I'm sure somebody in Conway, South Carolina will remember that Coastal Carolina won.
Yeah.
But 10 years from now, people are going to remember that kid from Arkansas that threw the no-hitter.
Yeah. First one in 60 years.
65, I believe.
Third all time. And here's something Joe Klein brought up on the Buzz this morning. First time against metal bats. The last no-hitter was against wooden bats.
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense. It's logical. It's logical to think that that's true, but then you don't think about that. Like that's, how much better, players offense has gotten since the metal bats have come into college baseball.
Yeah.
And that's, the only one to do it in definitely the modern era of baseball. Man, he was dealing, wasn't he? Just fun to watch.
It was 19 strikeouts too.
Yes.
And why I hated that he hit the guy. And who didn't love that he wasn't like, I shouldn't hit that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody.
First thing he said when she asked about it.
First thing he said, but you hate it. But what the moment needed to be, was history on the line. Their best player, their team captain, their leader, against you. I mean, that was literally the Kevin Costner moment in For Love of the Game, where he's like, all right, kid, it's going to be your day or mine.
Well, and how crazy is it? He's a kid from Batesville, Arkansas.
Well, that was the guy that batted ninth.
And one of the guys that he goes against multiple times that day is another kid from Batesville, Arkansas.
Yeah.
So he not only does it against, against this other team in the College World Series, but he's doing it against one of his friends that, he didn't play high school ball with him because the kid moved in after Wood had already done. But he practices in the summer with the guy and plays golf with him and hangs out with him in Batesville because who else are you going to hang out with in Batesville? Especially when you're, a high level college baseball player. Who else are you going to work out with? How cool is that, man?
That was awesome. And it was a fun game to watch. I remember, I know the guy from Batesville batted ninth. The guy that batted eighth that got pitch hit for in the ninth inning, he looked terrified at the plate. Yeah. He really did. He just looked terrified.
Well, Gage is kind of a scary guy on the mound.
He's a scary guy.
So intense.
He's up there throwing 98 and he's hitting his breaking ball where he wants to.
Yeah.
And Gage, you didn't want to have to play that extra game. Nobody did. Yeah. But what Gage Wood and what Zach Root did in Game 3, made it possible for us to even be in the position where if we were able to play today, if we went to the winner take all game, that I really didn't feel like we'd be at a pitching disadvantage.
No, we wouldn't.
I really didn't. You'd have had to bullpen it today, but you'd have had like Parker Coyle and Dylan Carter and Fouch. You'd have had all them guys. You'd have had your full bullpen ready to go.
Yeah. And a lot of guys that could come in and pitch a couple innings.
Yeah. Now and they owe a lot to what Root and Gage Wood did.
Yeah. And Gage, did you see him on Pat McAfee?
I did see him on Pat McAfee.
That interview, I love that McAfee pointed out that one time the batter went and called for a timeout and Gage looked like he was ready to fight him on the mound right then. Anyway, it was a really good. If you hadn't watched that interview, man, it was really good because McAfee brought his normal energy and Gage fed into it pretty well. Well, then we played UCLA.
We played UCLA.
UCLA. And I'll tell you, Clint, I think that game, and you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but of course, this is a if, okay? If they don't get that guy stealing home in the first inning, I think that game goes a lot different. And Zach Root especially gets out of there pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because how emotional he is on the mound.
Yeah, it was a big get.
Yeah.
It was a
gutsy play by that guy. It was a gutsy play.
Oh no, it was gutsy, but the guy was kept inching and daring to do something.
Yeah.
And finally, I don't know if they were expecting him to try it at some point and they discussed it. But you're right, that was because then they didn't score to the ninth and mop up, and at that point, we put McIntyre in, who's a super senior. Has done a lot of good for the program, but he didn't have a good ninth inning. But
no,
we looked really sloppy defensively in that ninth inning.
Oh yeah,
and it looked sloppy, but we were up, and it didn't really bite us in the butt. Giving up 3 runs in that ninth didn't bite us in the butt.
No,
but
I want to stay on that for a second. But just the way Roots played all year, when he gets emotionally out of it, when he gets something bad happens, he doesn't always recover very well, and that's what's got him out of some games early, in the season. And I think if that would have happened, if that guy would have stole home, just because that would have been a huge play, I think that would have had him mentally out of it, and you wouldn't have got. And credit to him, once that happened, he gave us a great rest of his start there. He was a fighter.
5 scoreless, yeah.
Yeah, he did wonderful out there. And so but I think it very well could have. Not that it would have, but it definitely could have gone a different direction. Well, then, of course, we get the rematch against LSU. And were you surprised at all that Battle Cheese was the starter?
No, and if you notice, there's a lot of talk. Would he go with, with who would LSU go with too?
Yeah.
And we both went with our Sunday starter.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been. I mean, both guys had been in the rotation all year long, and you at some point you have to trust the kid.
Yeah.
And they both did. And I will tell you, both starting pitchers did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Both LSU's, I'm brain farting on his name. He did a phenomenal job, and you couldn't ask for much more out of Battle Cheese.
Yeah.
You just couldn't.
Yeah. He did well, and I was kind of hoping it was going to be him because in that situation, of course, that's one thing. We only have so many guys that have starting experience, right? I mean, some of them have started on midweek games or whatever, but you want a guy that there's a different mentality going in as a starter and going in as a bullpen guy. And he had the experience mentally of getting ready for, important games because he started a lot of Sunday games or third games.
Well, in those Sunday games are very important because we've had remember we had Brady Taggart on here. He said the Sunday game is very important because you're either going for the sweep, the series win, or you're trying to salvage it.
Yeah, that's
right. So that is a very, very
and there's pressure for all three of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and so Battle Cheese does a great job. And then you have Geico came in next, and he's a guy that was a Friday starter at one time, and comes in, does a great job also. But you're playing against a great team.
Yeah.
You're playing against a good, solid team. Arguably, Arkansas and LSU, the two most talented teams there. Coastal Carolina is very talented also, of course, and then we get to the ninth inning, Clint. Now, there's a lot that happened in between there, but that's what everybody's talking about, right? And
we've got to give JTJ. We got to give him credit. Come up with a big, Justin Thomas Jr. You got to give him credit.
He was the MVP. If Arkansas would kept going, he's the MVP of Omaha.
No, he definitely made all College World Series team. I'd be shocked if he did it. I think Gage Woods,
especially as the ninth hitter.
Yeah. Gage Woods safe to say he made all tournament team too.
Yeah.
I think that's safe.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's just.
What I'd like to do, Clint, is there's three plays that everybody's talking about right now.
Yeah.
There's three plays that everybody's questioning what happened in those plays. Let's break those down a little bit. Okay, let's just talk about those three plays in order they happen. Talk about, and what I want to talk about is all sides of them because look, we're not going to be, if you're getting on here and you're thinking we're just going to talk about how terrible everything is and the sky's falling and all that kind of stuff. Look, we like to be, if you've listened to us at all, we like to be the type that we're going to look at things from all angles, and we're going to look at things from the coaches' angles. We're going to look at things from the players' angles because we try to understand things more than just from the fan angle, even though we are just fans. So, but we try to think about it from a little bit different. And so some of it, you may take it as critiques, but it's also, know that we're, I've been messaging some of the players today, just trying to encourage them. Okay. Because I am thankful for what they've done this year. I'm thankful for who they've been, how they've represented the Razorbacks, and we're not here to pile on today. Okay. And, I know Clint, that's how he feels too.
Oh, no, 100%. Cause me and Travis both played competitive athletics. I was fortunate enough to hang out with the college team. But as much as we're hurting today, and I'm sad, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a bummer. And, no matter how I don't let it ruin my day. Yeah, it's sad,
Yeah.
It's sad. But, you got to think them guys are hurting a lot more than we ever could. Like, we wanted it for us, for fans, so we could go buy a nice shirt that said Arkansas National Champ, take some pride in it. Them kids got up at 5 a.m. and ran.
Yeah.
Them kids sacrificed, and
they've been taking ground balls and throwing
ground balls, playing hurt.
5 years old,
Dave Van Horn dedicates his life to this. He's on his phone. He's on his phone all the time, trying to find the next great one. They're hurting so much more than we ever could.
Yeah, for sure.
And the reality is, not only did that happen, but that was the last game them guys all get to play together.
Yeah, that's right.
That ended a lot of these guys' Arkansas career.
And we've got to interview Cam a couple times on here, Cam Kozel. Those kids love each other. When we asked him about his teammates, he lights up talking about them. Yeah. And so anyway, I just wanted to say that. I wanted Clint to have a chance to say what you said.
Yeah.
So our hearts here.
You're going to say, hey, there's so much woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Yeah.
Because I think I get tired of saying this, but it really reminded me of the Oklahoma State football game.
Yeah.
Where there were 3 bad breaks and just any of them go your way.
Yeah.
Any of those, like it just got to be just perfect for LSU to come back and win. And it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, Travis.
Right. So the first one, of course, is ball gets hit to the right side. Reese Robinette, who has had a pretty good Omaha.
He made the best defensive play in Omaha. I mean, in Gage Woods' no hitter. So
yeah, and he makes a mistake in going for a ball that should have been Cam Kozel's. Because of that, he catches it out of place. The pitcher's not able to get over there in time because of the way it was hit and everything. And then when he throws it, he shouldn't have thrown it also. A couple mistakes in there. He should have just let the guy get to first. But instead, he does throw it, ends up letting the guy get to second. Especially now, remember, in all these plays, we have the option of replay so we can see it. Cam was in position to get that ball. Robinette couldn't necessarily see that from what he was doing. He was just going to get the ball. He was being aggressive.
That's instinct, yeah.
Now, so one of those things, maybe shouldn't have done that. At least, we were always told in sports, though, if you're going to mess up full speed, right? He messed up full speed. He was overly aggressive. You could say he wasn't thinking. Okay. Now, here's something I want to point out, though, where I think, and look, I'm not trying to totally blame Dave Van Horn on this, but this is where a sort of a coach's decision that I questioned a little bit, a decision that wasn't made earlier in the game, makes me think maybe this would have turned out different if it hadn't have. Okay. And this one, I'm going to say, Clint, this is one of those Arkansas fans reaching for a little too much right here. Okay.
Yeah.
However, a couple innings earlier, Robinette gets on base on first. We're down. We need his run to get around. And I start thinking, he's got a pinch run for Robinette because he's the slowest guy on the team. Okay. He's the slowest guy in your lineup. He's got a pinch run for him right here because you got to get that run around. The situation, I forget the exact situation we were in, but we needed him. We needed to get him around. Now, it worked out. He ended up getting around and scoring. Okay. However, that's a decision that if you're playing to win that game and you're not thinking about the next game, you're not thinking about anything else. You're thinking, I got to make the decision right now to get this point because this is do or die. You're going to take your slowest guy on the team and put someone faster in to run for him. And at first I was thinking, well, maybe he didn't because he wants him out there for defense. You got Rocco Pepe on the bench. Now, Pepe started struggling offensively, and that's why he's not in the lineup, right? But Pepe is a more, Pepe's played a lot more baseball than Robinette, especially in the college level. Okay, he's a senior. He's played junior college. He's played, you know, Division One before he came at Fresno State, before he came to Arkansas. So the woulda, coulda, shoulda, the what if, the pie in the sky thing
Yeah.
is, would Pepe have made the same decision Robinette did
Well,
if he would have pinched run for him? Now, it turns out we scored. So my question about that, oh well, it worked out in that
yeah.
inning. But when
No.
you're in that moment, that's a decision you got to think about making.
Yeah. No, it is, but that's the first blunder that led to it. And the second one, I think he'd walked the guy, right? He'd walked the pitcher. Gibbler had walked the pitcher.
Yeah.
And then you could say, like, look, Van Horn should have realized that this kid just wasn't having a good night and should have pulled him then.
Yeah.
That's it. And he had one out. There was one out at that time too. And so you that's one of them. Another, us as a fan, natural question there. That was my big question. Then a tailor-made double play ball gets hit right to Golden Spikes Award finalist.
Yeah.
Vahiva Aloy.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably something that Van Horn had coached him to do. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking, but it's a tailor-made double ball. And if he throws it to Cam Kozel, and Kozel turns it, they got two.
Yeah. And
I think they would have got two. And a lot of people saying that they don't even know why Iredale didn't throw to first, that he could have got him.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he goes to third, gets the lead runner out, 2 outs.
Well, let me
you go ahead, Travis.
A couple of explanations possibly for that. Okay. For one thing, remember we have the advantage of replay. That guy that was batting was fast. Okay. He was a little guy.
He's their shortstop, I believe.
Yeah. He was an athletic dude, but he wasn't running very hard. I think he thought he hit into a double play. Okay. Because when you watch the replay, it was obvious they could have got the double play, right?
Yeah.
So I think possibly Aloy was thinking, that guy's fast. I better get my sure thing. Now, here's something I didn't think of until our buddy Mike Floyd called me this morning and wanted to talk about it. And he was talking to Michael Turner, former Razorback catcher. Okay. He has a relationship with him. Turner's playing minor league ball in Alabama where Mike lives. And I think Turner's injured right now. And so during the game, they were texting. And then I think after the game, they were talking on the phone. And Turner brought something up that I didn't think about on that play. Okay. If there's no outs as a shortstop and you have runners on first and second, your play that you're coached to do is get the lead runner. If there's no outs, right? Is you get the lead runner first. That's what you're coached. Turner thinks that Aloy forgot that there was one out. Is what he told Mike. He said, I think he forgot. He said, I think he forgot there was one out. And so he thought there was no outs. And so he did the play. Because if you notice, he doesn't even look to second. He doesn't look to first. He doesn't look to see where any of the runners are. He picks it up, throws it over to third automatically. Okay. Now, we don't know that. He hasn't said that. That's once again, but if he thought there was no outs, then he made the play he's been coached to do his whole life. That's what shortstops are coached to do, okay, on that play. That's what infielders are coached to do on that play, okay? So you get the lead runner, because if there's no outs, you let that lead runner go to third, the next guy can hit a pop fly and he's going to score that run, right? So that makes sense. But if there's one out, you take the double play because you can get out of the inning, of course. So, yeah, if shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But that's, just to kind of throw out the other side of it, the player side, if he now
after this
if
next
that
one, you
doesn't
know what I
excuse
did?
it if he doesn't know, he should have known. Okay.
No, I find it hard to believe they didn't know.
Well,
But here after this next play is when I turned the TV off. That's why I ask you, like, who gave up the last hit?
well, my internet cut out, and so I didn't get to see the last hit either. So,
well, good for you.
Yeah.
I haven't watched replay,
I had to go back
anything
and
like
watch.
that. I just, it's one of those like, it hurts, it sucks. I don't want to relive it. I didn't really want to do this, but you know what? I have dozens to entertain.
Yeah.
So, next batter gets up. It's their catcher, Hernandez. Hits a frozen rope to left.
Yeah.
And for the best I can tell, like I haven't watched replay, looked like Davalon kind of lunged for it, thinking he could lay out and get it.
Well, what happened is he slipped, Clint. He took a step back. He took a step back like you're supposed to do in the outfield when a ball's hit to you. Your first step is back just so you don't get burnt. He took a step back, then he saw it was going in front of him, so he went to step forward. He slipped and fell. Okay. He scrambled to get up. He reaches out to get it. The ball goes off, misses his glove, hits him in the chest or shoulder, bounces off, and he has to go get it. Now, one thing that's important to remember, that's a hard ball to catch even if you don't have to take any steps. A hard hit with top spin on it to the outfield with not much air under it, those are hard balls to catch. Okay, they're hard to judge, they're hard to catch. It makes it even harder when it's in front of you and you slip and fall trying to get to it. Okay. Now, could he have still caught it? Possibly. But the poor guy, like someone, I heard someone talk about, the poor guy's got to get up this morning and see the bruise on his shoulder where it hit him and be reminded for a few days of what happened.
Well, I'm going to say this, and you don't get there without Charles Davalon, and Via Loy and Reese Robinette.
Yeah,
you just don't.
Yeah, Robinette had a pretty good series, and Aloy had a good series.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this too is okay. Robinette, you could probably get quite a few first basemen that are going to outperform him.
Yeah,
you probably could, but with Davalon and Via Loy especially, who you going to get in there that's really going to do? Who's getting in there that might do a better job? Might. Yeah. On both. When it comes to both players, you may be able to count them in one hand.
Yeah.
I mean that's how elite they are, and we're not there without them. And the good thing about Arkansas baseball is with Dave Enhorn there, you're always going to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts to get here and lose. It does. It sucks. But you know what is you've seen the meme going around. It's the Razorback. It's like, can't wait for basketball season. The Omaha Hogs will save us.
Yeah.
Well, at least there's football. We're talking about if Sam Pittman's going to save his job.
Yeah.
Is he going to? Can he win 8 games and keep his job?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about in football. That is our expectation.
Yeah.
So this is the sport we feel like, okay, we can win it all. We have the horses to win it all. And we do.
Yeah.
It's just, but you got to get there. You got to get on the big stage and you got to perform. And I think next year we're going to be in the conversation again. And,
and the thing is, Clint, too, man, there's something to being in the conversation every year.
Yeah.
This team finished one of the 4 best teams in the country. There's 300 other schools that would love to be in their position right now.
And I don't think there's many people that say we weren't number 2.
Yep. And 50 wins, 15 losses. Only 15 losses in a baseball season.
And like I said, is if nothing, and we got that magical moment out of this by an Arkansas boy, by Gage Wood from Batesville, Arkansas. We got that magical moment. Like I said, 10 years from now, some people we're going to remember whoever wins the World Series is going to remember it. Whoever loses is going to remember it. But your average fan from, let's just say, South Dakota, just watching at home, they're not going to remember, but they're going to remember that kid from Arkansas that threw the no-hitter.
Well, and to all the people that are calling for Dave Van Horn saying he can't get it done.
Well, those people are idiots.
You know what? Okay, sure, he hasn't got it done yet. But I was talking to somebody today, and I was thinking, look at what we've gone through in basketball. The one sport that in our lifetime we've got a national championship in, right? Or even in football, we got 64 national championship. But we've gone through a lot of seasons like the one we're about to go through this year where we're questioning whether we're going to be able to be eligible for a bowl game, and a bowl games that don't even matter anymore. Okay. Yeah. We're going into Arkansas baseball next year thinking, all right, do we got a chance to make it to Omaha? But most of us would say, yeah, they're going to make a regional next year.
Yeah. I mean,
and we don't even know what the team's going to look like yet.
No, you'd be disappointed if the team didn't host a regional. I mean, if we're not a top 8 seed, we're going to feel like disappointed.
Yeah.
But that's the expectation. But you know what Nolan said, after, when the dust settled with the lawsuit and everything, he's like, look, you build a monster, you got to feed the monster.
Yeah.
And it's that one thing that is missing is the national title. Like we got everything else. You got everything else. It's just the national title. And they won't. Van Horn wants it. Them kids want it for Van Horn. And I don't know. The Van Horn's got an Andy Reid type coaching tree out there now.
Yeah,
he just does.
Yeah.
And the amount of respect that he has from Georgia's coach, I believe, is a Van Horn disciple.
Johnson,
Tony Vitello is it. So it's guys. Let it hurt. Be sad.
Well,
don't let it ruin your day.
And the thing is, you got a good locker room guy like Cam Colesville coming back next year, who's also very talented.
Yeah, and you got the guy that's handled the pitching staff, Ryder Helfrich, coming back.
And listen, Clint, Ryder Helfrich may get the attention that Wahiva Aloy got this year.
Yeah,
Wahiva Aloy is one of the best shortstops in the country, if not the best shortstop in the country. Well, you know what? Ryder Helfrich's already being talked about. I mean, the commentators were saying the best catcher in the country already about him. Okay.
Yeah.
And his bat's catching up to that, his athleticism. He's going to be talked about next year as one of the best in the country at any position. Okay. So they're going to be all kinds of stuff about him, going into next year. So you got that guy, he's already our 4th hitter. Okay. Kahila Aloy, hit second half of the season, his toward the end of not the second half, last quarter or third of the season, he struggled.
But what's encouraging about that is you look at the progress. A lot of people last year just wanted Thompson fired.
Yeah.
All the guys last year that came back this year hit so much better.
Oh, and that's the thing too. We talk about how talented this pitching staff has been, but this pitching staff loses a lot of games for us this year if it wasn't for our offense.
Yeah.
There was a lot of games where the pitching staff, they've had some really good, they've done good at times, but there's also been some times where they've struggled, and there was a lot of games that we scored 12 runs, and that's why we won. So I mean, you're right. The hitting wasn't that questionable. This wasn't questionable this year.
So I'm looking forward to see the progress that all of them make.
Yeah.
I mean, Arkansas, and I think Helfrich's a leader. I think Cam Colesville's a leader. I think this team's going to be a lot better next year. I mean, I ain't going to say better. They just finished. They were the second best team in the country. But I'm saying you're going to not better, but you're going to be able to make a run again next year. You're going to have the horses to do it.
What's your as you're looking at recruiting and portal signings and all that kind of stuff? What are you looking forward to as you think this team needs the most?
Well,
that would have helped this year. That you think that they need.
They had the pieces. They just need to break then and there. they just. I mean, it's just the.
I'll tell you the one piece I think I wish this team would have had this year, and it may have been on the staff, they just didn't find it, is a closer,
Yeah.
a go-to
No, and I
closer.
can see. You know what? And I think Gibbler.
They thought Gibbler, they thought Fouch could have been that.
Yeah. Gibbler may be your Friday. He's going to be in contention for that Friday starter next year. Just watch.
But even like if you had a Brady Tiger, somebody that doesn't necessarily have to be it doesn't have to be a Cops fireball guy, but Tiger had that mentality that he was going to go out there and he was ready. The same mentality that Gage Wood shows and Zach Root shows starting a lot of times.
Yeah.
You need someone with that intensity that's going to build the confidence of your team in that last inning.
Yeah, you want to hear Enter Sandman and just.
That's right. You want that guy, right? You want that guy that your team's like, okay. Like LSU has that 6'8" dude. That's tough. Of course he's throwing 100, and your closer doesn't necessarily have to throw 100, but you need someone that can throw some fireballs. Like a Gage Wood, except a guy that's you bringing in for short stints.
But
this team didn't
really
didn't have that this year.
Well, nobody really wants to be that guy. I think everybody wants to be a starter. No one wants to be. One of these days, these kids are going to grow a Fu Manchu mustache and be like Goose Gossage and go out there and mow them down.
Yeah.
Well, they used to say they had to wake Lee Smith up to go into games.
Yeah. All right, Clint. Well, hey, look, we're proud of these Hogs. I don't care what fans are saying right now.
Yeah.
Let's let some time happen. This team was fun to watch. Everybody in Arkansas was watching people that didn't give a rip about baseball all year.
Yeah.
Was watching these games this week. My mom was watching every game with the people at the assisted living place she lives at. She's calling me to ask me questions about stuff, because she doesn't understand baseball and college baseball all that much. So look, this team did well. They did well for Arkansas. They deserve our credit. They deserve our applause. They deserve our fandom. Now, just to kind of change the subject here, something I know you wanted to talk about, and I want to talk about too. Some big news happened in NBA. We've become kind of an NBA show. We're talking about the NBA a little bit. We're not going to talk about the finals here necessarily. Well, we may, but the Lakers.
Dude, I was going to, I had a great segue and then you ruined it.
Oh, sorry.
Travis, you ever made it? What's the best return on investment you've ever gotten? Because Dr. Jerry Buss, now keep in mind when Dr. Jerry Buss owned this, I'm not sure if me and you, when he bought it, I'm not sure if me and you were alive. If we were babies.
I'm not sure what year it was, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think me and you were friends yet. I'm confident in saying that.
Yeah, that's right.
And we've been friends for a long, long time.
That's right.
He bought Dr. Jerry Buss bought the Los Angeles Lakers for $67.5 million.
It's a lot of cash.
That's a lot of money.
Especially if it was back in the 70s or whenever it was, probably.
Now you know who they wanted to draft? And he overruled them?
Who's that?
Sidney Moncrief.
Oh, wow.
Because they already had a point guard. And they thought that Magic Johnson was going to have to bounce the ball too tall to be 6'9".
Yeah.
So anyway, but they ended up drafting Magic Johnson, and the rest is history. But the NBA since blown up, become an international game.
Yeah.
The Lakers, I would say, it has to be their most valuable franchise. Wouldn't you say, Travis?
Oh yeah.
It's either them or the Celtics, and I think just being in Hollywood.
Well, I think just where they're at, Showtime, all that stuff.
Yeah. So they're the Los Angeles and Boston are the two premier teams in the NBA. But it's sold. He sold. It was a family sold.
Yep.
For a whopping $10 billion with a B.
With a B.
$10 billion with a B. Dollars. That is some return on investment.
That's right. That's a bunch of money. And that's the thing. it's why are we bringing this up? That's like the Yankees selling.
Oh yeah, no, this is big. And
That's like the Dallas Cowboys selling.
me and Travis have never watched an NBA game where Jerry Buss or a member of the Buss family wasn't the owner of the Lakers.
Yeah.
If we talked about something else, this would be like like you said, Jerry Jones selling the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: seeing this, now the Tampa Bay Devil Rays are going to sell. It's billions, but it's not. It's a fraction of this billions.
Yeah.
I want to say like 2.5, 3 billion. The Devil Rays.
Yeah.
What do you think? If Jerry Jones like, you know what, I'm done with this. What do you think he would get for the Cowboys? And me and you have no insider knowledge. We are just we're two bros talking nonsense.
Oh, I think he would. Well, he would expect to get more than what the Lakers got, and more than Buss got for the Lakers, just because he's Jerry Jones and he's not going to take less. So I think
it's funny how them egos are.
His asking price would be probably $15 billion. I'm guessing, at least. I don't know though. I think there's been some things out there saying how much they think teams are worth nowadays or whatever. But
that's before. But all that was done before the Lakers sold for $10 billion.
That's right. Yeah, they
Travis,
just set the market a little different. Yeah,
I've got another insane take.
Okay.
And this is, you call me crazy. I don't know how much of the NBA Finals you watch, but I've watched quite a bit.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact,
I haven't watched as much as you, but yeah.
We're going to wrap this up, man. I'm going to go watch the rest of it.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander are the next Jordan Pippen. If the egos don't get in the way, they are that good. They are that good, and it is going to be in a town like Oklahoma City.
I heard someone else compare Jalen Williams to Pippen.
And I'm telling you, the way SGA's his fadeaway game, and the way he can, in the way he gets to the free throw line, because he gets fouled. I mean, and the way his fadeaway game is reminds me so much of Jordan.
Yeah, I think he's a long way from Jordan, but
we all are. But everybody wants to go. Oh, LeBron. Everybody loves to hate on LeBron, and everybody likes to, and people love or hate on Kobe Bryant. What I'm saying is, I think you're going to look in a few years.
The style, and
the style of the way he plays. But I think you're going to look at it, because me and you've talked about it. Like, all right, who's that guy that's going to grab the brass ring?
Yeah,
I could see it being Shea. I really can.
And it would be crazy for a guy from playing in a Middle America team,
Yeah, and dude, and what's funny about this series, this finals, and we'll end it after this. But both of these teams have rosters that were built by trading Paul George. So,
yeah, that's right.
I've looked at that the other day. That is going to go down as the worst trade in the history of trades.
Yeah.
Was whenever the Oklahoma Thunder traded Paul George for it was one of them trades that we're going to throw a bunch of stuff in here.
Yeah.
And one of the things they threw in there was Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
He was drafted by the Clippers and then sent. Now he's starting for Oklahoma City. But anyway.
Well, folks, we're sad, but don't worry. The sadness will end. Football's coming.
And maybe we'll go to the
73 days away. 73 days away today. The day we're on Thursday here. We're recording the 19th. So anyway.
We're such masochists. We're going to go to the Texas game at Texas.
That's right. But folks, like, share, comment, subscribe, all those things. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. And look, have a good week. Watch the rest of the series. Don't watch the rest of the series. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you get a chance, put some posts on social media encouraging these Hog baseball players. They could probably use a pick-me-up right now. Thank them for what they've done, because they've done some amazing things. Okay. And, oh, by the way, when we talked about players coming back, Justin Thomas, I bet he's not a ninth hitter next year.
I bet he's not.
In fact, I wouldn't doubt if he's number one. He goes from 9 to 1 next year. So, anyway, folks, Clint, Hey man, get your car fixed.
Man, I will. No, they were really apologetic and everything, so I was like, I ain't worried about it.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, fight the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Fight the power. Fight the mosquitoes. Wear your DEET. Whatever else. All right, folks. Have a great rest of the week. Peace.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get